Now, how do everyone? Welcome back. It's Monday night there. We are just into the week there, gardening. JB, how are you doing,
Hello,
sir?
hello.
Hello. Are you good? Are you well? Is hay fever
I'm very well.
holding you back? Are you all right?
It's been okay this season. I had one really, really bad week, the week before last, and it was a little bit bad at the start, sort of in May. But yeah, so
Good.
far, touch
Good.
wood,
Good. Good.
it's under control.
That's nice. I don't like that kind of pride, but are you taking anything to help with that? Or is it just the way that? All right.
I've got.
Oh, hey,
It's all I've got.
hey.
Every single room in the house is like,
I wish I'd never
there's
asked. Now
always
it's like
stuff.
it's a pharmacy there, lad.
I have a drawer down like under my PC that is just like chock full of
And
hundreds of pills and nose sprays and everything.
just if anyone else do, because I don't suffer it, which for you is the best item?
The hands down the biggest difference is this, which is Becanaise. It's a steroid nasal spray that you can buy over the counter. I also have a prescription strength nasal spray for when it gets really bad, Avamis. But yeah, generally I find what makes more difference than anything is the nose spray. And it's all about the technique, Tony. It's all
Right.
about how you do it. You have to make sure you push it outwards. That's the biggest difference
Right.
that'll make. For a long time I didn't realize, and I was just kind of spraying it down the back of my throat and it does nothing. So you got to try and get your sinuses, spray it in the nose. Little tip for anyone watching.
Okay.
There we go. We are not just gardening. Audrey,
Yes,
are you doing well? Are you good?
I'm doing very well. Thank you.
Good, good,
And my
good.
technique for getting over hay fever, because I had it very bad as a young person, was I had a baby. And after the first child, no more hay fevers. I'm not sure that's
There you go, JB.
Not going to help
I know what I
JB.
need to do.
I'm not sure that's a direct correlation, but it worked for me.
Wow.
That's great.
So, and I've never suffered from it again. So,
There you go.
yeah.
Kerry, it's lovely to have you back. Thank you so much. Are you well?
I'm doing better. Yeah, I'm on the other side of a cold. So that's been
A cold in.
it hasn't been holding me back particularly. I've just been ploughing on and trying to do as much as possible anyway. But yeah,
I
still a
kind of
bit
do that.
fuzzy-headed, but all right.
So you had a cold when the hottest week of
I
the
know.
year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Typical.
Freezing cold, shivers. So what's been happening in gardening wise? What have you been up to, lad?
Oh man, so yesterday was just like the best day I've had on the allotment in so long. It was just like pure bliss. I was sky high. It was just amazing. I got to that point. I did film it all, but it's just blowing my mind because this never happens. But it's like I got to the finish line. Do you know what I mean? I got to the point where it was like, I don't have anything else to do. I could just sit here all day and just like watch the butterflies. And like, I found a little lacewing. It's like filming a lacewing for my video and talking about that. And it was just like, I've done it. I've hit the jackpot. This is it, the bliss.
Is it
was
a
great.
mixture then, JB? Is it a mixture of like, and we know your dad helped out when you were away, but is it a mixture like say good weather, because we do seem to be having nice weather, crops are growing, and you started a little bit later, so you just kind of had a better up there?
Yeah. I think a big part of it has been all of the spent mushroom compost, making raised beds, like investing in wood chipping of the paths and that kind of stuff. So the maintenance burden this year has been massively reduced. Like I have weeded one bed basically. That's it. Like the weed pressure is non-existent because there's just such a thick layer of like spent mushroom compost on everything. Everything's growing quite nicely, so I'm not like, freaking out having to do second, third sowings of everything. And the stuff that has failed, like you say, I'm just taking it a bit easier this year, and I go, oh well. I think it's just like that slow improvement as well. Now I've been on those plots for 5 and 3 years. It just feels like it gets a little bit easier every year, and yeah, it's amazing. Once I got the tomatoes out in the polytunnel and the solar irrigation system set up, it's just been like a weight off my mind. I've got a little bit of succession sowing to do. You know, I find there's not so much to sow at this time of year. There's still plenty you can sow, but I don't feel under so much pressure to get it all done as well, like you do in April. Yeah, it's just amazing.
Well,
Like,
go home now. You might as well, you know what I mean? That's it. Done. Finished for the year.
It was brilliant. It was still like, you know, I did spend 5 hours up there and I was trimming, and there's still a few squash to plant out and bits and bobs, but it's just like, it all feels so manageable at the moment, and it's just wonderful. I feel like this is how you feel all the time. I remember like quite a few times this year you've been going down sort of like, oh, well, you know,
it is. Honestly, JB, it's exactly
stuff.
that. And it's nice to do that. And it's nice to go down just to like pot at and yeah, we do the video cameras, but it's nice just to walk around and chat instead of having to set it up, dig, weed. You know what I mean? Just, oh, there is some ladybirds. There is this, there is that. Look at that. You know what I mean? And you don't mind a few disasters. You know what I mean? I've planted some broad beans out there. I'd say on one bed, 80% have germinated. I'm not bothered about the other 20. You know what I mean? It's just, it's just nice.
I feel like normally this happens to me sort of towards the end of March, start of April. This is like that's normally the only time I ever feel like, I've done everything that I need to do in the garden for now. And it's normally just before you can start sowing the stuff that needs a lot of heat. You know, before you can start your tomatoes and melons and courgettes and all that stuff. There's a lot of sort of getting the plot ready. And I quite often will book a week off work pretty much every March and put in loads of work. And then I go, it's all done. But to have this in the middle of summer, that is a new experience for me. And it's very nice.
Kerry, is this the same for you?
I apologise, Kerry.
I'm feeling as good as JB.
All right, mute him. Yeah, I could not be more opposite to JB. I cannot see the finishing line. I'm making progress. But I think what you're saying about having a plot for 3 or 5 years, and you get to know your space and the infrastructure's there, and this is a new plot for me. I got this in.
Yeah.
Well, I started transitioning from the old plot in the autumn, and then it was officially mine from January. And it was a nice setup on the plot. You know, there wasn't a lot to do if you didn't want to, but there were things that I wanted to do, and I wanted to get the beds ready in the way that I wanted, and I put some perennials in and things like that. So setting up the plot, even though I didn't have to go in and do a huge amount of weeding, and I know people take on plots that need a lot of work just to even get started, it didn't need that. But even so, when it's new to you, there's a lot to learn, and it's a big space. So I think that has put me back more than maybe I expected.
Kerry, what was your soil condition like of this new plot?
It's interesting with the soil, because I was digging up the garlic and onions at the weekend, and I mean digging. I could not pull those out of the ground. Like, at the foot, and I've not got a lot of energy at the moment, so I was really like panting to try and get these garlic and onions out. And it made me think about the beds and the soil, because that was the one bed that, because obviously going in at the end of the year, that I immediately put the onions and garlic in. So I hadn't done anything to that bed. That was just how it was when I got it. All the other beds did actually rotivate before I got started. So they'd been covered in black plastic for maybe a month or two by the previous tenant. And I took that off to look where the paths were and everything. And while it was bare, because there's absolutely nothing in the ground other than this onions and garlic, it just seemed like if you were ever going to rotivate, now was the time to do it. And my brother-in-law, who has the plot next door to me, was rotivating his. And he's like, I can do it. And I'm like, I'm no dig. But to have lovely, fresh, rotivated beds, it was just like, go on then. And he did it. He rotivated them all. I didn't dig anything in. I just put compost on top. I can tell the difference between those beds and this one that I got the garlic and onions out of. I know, JB, you've been saying a lot about the beds that you dug and the ones that you haven't, how nice it is planting in the ones that have been dug. And I'm trying to imagine if I had not rotivated and left the whole plot and just put that couple of inches of compost on top, I think I would have been, screwed.
Interesting.
basically.
Yeah, interesting.
So what we're saying, Kerry, that rotivating it helped, digging helped.
It's not like I'm not going to think,
No,
oh, I'm
say
going to
it.
rotivate it
No, just yes or no.
every year. Hasn't Hugh just released a video about the no dig debate? And
Yeah, I saw that one.
yeah, and I think he's right. You know, you don't have to be all one or the other. I know he likes the term minimal disturbance gardening, and you kind of have to do what you have to do with the space that you've got. And yeah, I wouldn't rotivate again, in part because I'll have perennials dotted all around now anyway, so you wouldn't have that clear space to do it. But if I did have a bed, I mean, I've got the broad fork, so I use that to help with compaction. But if I did have something that was like really seriously bad, then I'd dig it.
Oh.
I think I
Yeah,
would.
that's pretty much the point I've reached as well. I think there's a pretty good chance as well that I did a lot of damage to my soil when I first took on the plot and didn't really know what I was doing, you know, and had to dig 2 spits deep to get out brambles. And it was probably like chucking it down with rain that winter. And like I probably caused a lot of the compaction and the problems in my bed when I first started. And so that's why I've been sort of now starting to do a bit of digging. But instead of just digging, like digging when the conditions are right for it and incorporating plenty of organic matter when I do it to make the texture that bit nicer. And yeah, every time now I've got to plant something out in one of those beds I dug. I'm just like, oh, this is so much easier, you know?
Well, one of the things I also did was make little paths in, because they're quite wide beds, but I made little paths in them so I wasn't stepping on the soil as much. So that's really helped. But I don't know if you would think this was a good idea, but when I did the rotivating, it was in part because we'd had a bit of a dry spell, but then the snow was coming. And so the snow adds nitrogen to the soil, doesn't it? And I thought, well, if it's dug at that point, it will penetrate, and perhaps that did a good thing. I don't know.
Yeah, nice. The freezing action is meant to help break it up that little bit extra as well, right?
Yeah.
After you've cultivated. So interesting.
It's funny how like I kind of fell out with no dig as well. You know what I mean? It seems to like, and I tell you what, I fell out with, and I've just watched Epic Garden, and he was kind of plugging it, you know, like potatoes in buckets. And then it got to like, I watched the beginning where he was talking about different varieties he was going to put in buckets, and then he was going through the whole process. And then obviously this videos took a while to do, so he wanted to, you know, so it started off like, you know, you can grow potatoes in buckets, but then his harvest at the end was like pitiful. I thought, do you know what I mean? He put 3 potatoes in each, and he was blessed him. He was trying his best to be upbeat. So you know, it's all right. You know, we're getting like, I put 3 potatoes in each, and we've tripled what we've getting out. So you had about 9 potatoes in each bucket. You know what I mean? And there were little things. So, and again, I've never had any success with potatoes in buckets. So
I've had middling success.
This week. I'm not going to do potatoes in buckets anymore because I don't water them. That's what I've learned this week. As I've looked, because I've done an experiment with my Charlotte potatoes. I've done half a bed, so this is in the ground, with the Charlottes that I saved from last year, and I've done half with commercial bought seed potatoes. So I wanted to see the difference between the two, but then I thought I'll also do one in a bucket each. And I had a look, and it's this lovely bed of green mass, and then 2 dead plants in a bucket. I thought, yeah, I took them behind the greenhouse and just forgotten about them. So, and the main crop, I've got a few main crop in buckets, and they're looking much sadder than the ones that are in the bed.
Mind it's due to rain. You know what I mean? We've got, I'm sure on my weather forecast, there 10 days of bloody rain coming.
Keep
so
saying it. I've not seen any yet.
Audrey, what's been going on in your little world? I'm guessing it must be now. Everything must be planted up now, surely.
We're pretty darn close.
Oh, there we go.
Yes. All the veg components are in. All the tomatoes are in. Like, all that's done. What's mainly left is flowers. And I bought some onion sets, which I've never purchased. So we're just going to start poking those around wherever we can find a spot. So, yeah, I think we're in much better shape. But we had this, I mean, this heat wave that's here right now is insane. So there will be no gardening today because it's crazy.
Very
We're going to
sensible.
be 37 today. That's just insane.
That would just we terrible. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
struggle
so
at bloody 25.
right, so I'm watering twice just
Right.
to keep things from not, you know, shriveling up and dying.
Right.
So, yeah. But yeah, we got a ton in last week. Which
I'd just
was,
like to kind of remind you, though, Audrey, the days are getting shorter now.
For goodness.
it's
sake.
okay to say that now because now we are in that era. So that's
Yeah.
okay.
It's all
But
right
I
now.
also still am drinking the no dig Kool-Aid. So apparently I'm the last one standing. Me and Charles.
Hold
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think it works so much better in raised beds because you have control of what's got in it. All of your stuff is raised beds, isn't it, Audrey?
Except my back 40, which is in the ground,
Yeah.
which is a pretty big.
I beg your pardon, madam.
I just nodded and agreed. I was like,
What?
yeah,
You're back
Is that-
40. Oh, hey, Vicar.
Okay, that is not what we mean by that. So, anyway, you guys have the weirdest terminology for things. I
Come out.
cannot. I just can't. I can't understand all of it. Anyway, I do have a large in ground garden at the very back. So it's probably like 16 or 32 by 74. So it's
Is that
pretty
all
good. Yeah.
no dig as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm forcing it to
Interesting.
be
Hmm.
because that one hadn't been dealt with in years. So it had a lot of bushes, a lot of, yeah. So the I can definitely tell the soil there is more compacted for
Hmm.
sure. But
I mean, when you look at Charlie Dowden's, his soil doesn't look compacted. It looks lovely, homegrown compost. And the difference, I think, from him to me is I'm too lazy to turn mine. He is probably turning his once a month, or someone is once a month. And so if you can put on nice, like JB's fine now there, if you can put on nice compost right on, few inches thick each time, you ain't going to get any weeds. You're going to get lovely. But in the real
Yeah.
world, it's a hard task to do. It's nice in theory because you think, oh, we're not, we're just keeping everything. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that.
well, we still have some pretty good weed pressure back there. We get those thistles,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
the pokey ones.
Mm.
Those are horrible. And they have a
We got-
taproot that goes down for
Oh,
like
God,
12
aye.
feet. And I'm thinking, so if I break that off, I'm going to get two of them. So
we got one of those weed poppers a little while back. Have you got one of those, Audrey? Like the
No.
handle and the claw that you put in, and then you stand on it, and it's like the whole tool comes up to like your waist. So then you've got a big lever, and you can like rip out the whole taproot. I reckon.
wow,
Very good.
that's pretty serious.
Mind, I've pulled them thistle taproots out of the me waist high raised beds, and they've been. Do you know what I mean? They're a size. They just go to the. If I could grow parsnips the same size, you know what I mean? That would
Yeah.
be fantastic. So, yeah,
Well, I heard, and I forget who it was I was watching, where they just cut them off at the ground level. But the theory is I just keep cutting them off. And at some point, it weakens the root system
hmm
and they won't cut. So I don't have to like worry about going down to get the taproot. I thought,
Sounds like wishful thinking to me. That one.
but then
But I
I
like
thought,
it.
wow,
I like
that's
the
a whole lot.
optimism.
It's a whole lot easier though.
Yeah.
So I thought that might be worth just giving it a shot. So, yeah.
I've got a new hoe, the Wolf Garden one with interchangeable heads, and it's lovely, and it just does. It slides through the weeds and just nips the tops off, but it's below the surface of the soil, so then it covers the top and you hopefully don't get it up. But I was doing like Charles does. You hoe it, you just leave it on the surface, and if it's sunny, it'll die off and the weeds will feed the bed. But then it rained. I'm pretty sure everything just rerouted straight back into that soil because it was like I'd never done it.
Is the theory though, Kerry, not that it's that sharp? It's cutting off, it's scything the heads. You know what I mean? So, because I'm still using my little hand one, and again, it was a lovely hot morning this morning, and it's just so satisfying, just like, you know what I mean? Get them buggers down. I think weeds for me are the one thing that kind of spoils. You know, I could probably put up with like slugs and snails more, but weeds just like seem to be the one thing that drags it down for us. So,
oh no, I think
not this year though. Not this year.
Yeah,
Kerry, I haven't seen any slugs or snails this year. Do you know what I mean?
No,
nothing's touching.
I was looking back in my like diaries to see when I put the pumpkins out last year, but I mean, not that it matters because as soon as they went out last year, they got completely eaten and they were gone. But just kind of looking back through last year and all the things that I was doing, and it's just like I planted this out and this out and this out, and I'm like, yeah, none of that. Nothing came of it because it all just got eaten by slugs. And this dahlia bed that I planted up is still there. It's like 3 weeks later, and those dahlias are growing. I'm just astounded. But when I was harvesting this garlic and onions at the weekend, and it was a mixed bag as I was kind of taking some bigger ones, some smaller ones and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's okay. And then I was like, what's wrong with me? Last year I had nothing. I should be really celebrating. So yeah, much better year.
I do think that's a big part of my like amazing mood yesterday. It was just like compared to the time we had last year, just leaps and bounds. You know, it feels like I'm not used to it. You know, it's like the allotment was singing yesterday. It was gorgeous.
What, GB, just from your initial like experience with it, what is the mushroom compost like? Is it nice? Is it or?
Yeah, it's good. It feels very much like mostly organic matter. And I think that it is mostly organic matter. I can't remember exactly what goes into it. I did look it up when we first got it, but it's a lot of like natural products that they grow the compost in. There is a bit of manure in there. I think maybe like some wood product as well. But it doesn't feel a million miles away from, you know, well-rotted horse manure or something like that. I thought there was someone on the screen behind you.
No, I noticed. If anyone's watching, that's live. That's live at my allotment plot there. So, but I just noticed it kind of went to sleep. So, look at that, man. You can zoom right in, man. I can check me cabbages.
Wow,
check me cabbages. I tell you what I've noticed, mind you, here, cabbage whites. Abundance of them. So I've filled up me spray bottle with me Bacillus thuringiensis ready for tomorrow. I'll do a video of that there tomorrow because they're in me nets. They're in them nets and they're bloody. What I mean, I did burn them when I was flamethrowing everything in the site. You know what I mean? So there is little holes in them. So I'm out with the
the nets. You burnt the nets.
Right.
I thought you meant you were going around burning butterflies and chasing them around. Like,
oh, that's hilarious.
In me sliders and shorts. You know what I mean? Bare toed. Ow! Achh! Yes. No, but I've noticed quite a few cabbage whites. So
I had one under my net yesterday as well. Yeah.
So all they're doing, JB, is laying eggs.
It's more the whitefly on my brassicas at the moment. I can see, I think I said last week, they're all curling up in the middle. I still haven't done anything about it. We don't have hoses on our plot, so like if I was at home, I'd try and blast them with the hose, but on the plot, I'm just holding the watering can high and hoping for some pressure.
I'm getting swamped on my chilies with green fly. You know
yeah, chili chump this year too.
It's just like unreal. They look hacky, dirty, and everything. I'll tell you what I did with one, JB. So I don't know if anyone knows. In my polytunnel, I've got the back shelf. I've got some ones that are just sitting, so I can lift them up and take them if I want to take them and bring them back. So I just lifted one of them up that was covered in absolute, and I just dunked it in me water butt, So the whole thing was like 4 foot underwater, and I was shaking it. Oh, yeah, that's me. That's me. I'll better just stop that. Did anyone hear that? That's Epic
No.
Gardens finishing off his video there. I pressed
Very
the
good.
audio button. So that's what I was watching before. So I just dunked it in and just tried to wash off. And you could see bits of soil bubbling up to the surface.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
But I thought, well, bugger it. You know what I mean? So
I've had to do that with plants before. The deep clean.
it's just like, oh, I mean, it's way more than last year. I get. What year? What year?
Sorry.
So yes, horrible. Can I show and tell?
Sure.
No way.
That's my second batch.
No
Waitrose.
way. Wait.
Waitrose, you cheeky.
You've got your thumbnail there, Tony.
know,
That's
there
the
we go.
thumbnail for the
Wow.
show. Look at that.
They're actually the one tomato plant that I've lost the label of, but they've got like a. Let's see if I can find a nice one. So I thought they were outdoor girl, but they've got this like little yellow top on them. Is that lithium sunset? You think or not? Or
No, they're big ones. It looks like a bit like a Paul Robeson. They've always got a little bit of a
I
dark
thought they
green
were
at the top.
dark, like a dark ruby red. Paul.
Yeah, Robeson's way darker though.
They do, yeah. I wondered
Yeah.
if it was quite ripe, maybe.
So, but there's another one. So, yeah.
Have you tried them?
No, not yet. No, I just came back and caught them.
You didn't eat one in the garden?
Well, I've been doing it with these ones. So you know me. What do you call them ones again? That's orange.
Are those
for
sun gold?
sun gold. So I'm doing the sun gold eat.
I can't believe you have sun gold already.
I can't believe they haven't split.
Wow.
Actually,
It's perfect.
it's a funny though because normally the seed ones if I would split, but this is a shop bought plant sun gold.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
know if it had
maybe
anything
slightly different.
I don't know if it's, but it did say just a sun gold F1. So, guess what? As well,
Oh, there's more.
there's more. Jesse was right. Gardener's Delight don't taste very nice. I didn't realize. So I've got a gardener's. They're giving us fruit there now. Gardeners. I think that's possibly one, like a small one, but nah. So I'm
Interesting.
holding out for these garnets that are growing
I
to
love
find out if they are nicer. But yeah, I tasted one because I gave one to my daughter today, the Gardener's Delight, and I went, "What do you think?" Yeah, it's nice. You know what I mean? I thought that's not as nice as it should be. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So,
That's good. An impartial tester. Very
Mhm.
good idea.
anything else? Are we looking forward to the glut? Well, Audrey, I think you might. It's happening now, Audrey. You missed it. You're just planting out. You know what I mean?
Well, I think I have a few weeks now to kind of not totally relax because the flowers must get in, but I'm not feeling the same pressure
Mhm.
because either they bloom or they don't, right?
Hmm.
But I'm not waiting for it to produce something. So, so we're starting to do some canning today. So, with last year's tomatoes,
I was about to ask with what? Yeah.
because I got to
Right.
make room. Because when they start coming in, they come in hot and heavy. So, you got to have space for them.
So how are you doing this then, Audrey? Is this just like a bag of frozen tomatoes from the freezer?
Mm-hmm.
Literally put them in the bag, then froze them,
Mm-hmm.
and now you just. What's
we're-
your process now?
We're just thawing them, and I save all the liquid, which is the most ridiculously good tasting tomato liquid. It's like tomato water, which sounds disgusting,
Yeah.
but if you use it like to make rice
Ooh.
or
Oh.
use it as a stock for soup or something, it's fabulous.
So is this just the frozen, the what comes off the residue when you've defrosted them?
Yes, it's
Oh, wow.
crazy. Yeah, crazy
Nice.
good.
Mm.
So today we're making some enchilada sauce and some rhubarb barbecue sauce.
Well, I've just picked rhubarb today, Audrey, so that's on the menu as well. Yes.
Add pepper to the recipe. I
Right.
forgot to add just regular pepper.
All
So
right. Right.
it's like a teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of regular pepper. So I will add that into the.
Have you tried, Audrey, your tomatoes like freeze dried them? What they come out like?
I have not tried freeze drying tomatoes.
Right.
This year, depending on if everything does well, I will have more than ample opportunities.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of people make tomato powder out of tomatoes, so it just thickens things. You know, if you need a sauce thicker, you can just add a couple spoonfuls of freeze dried tomato powder. Never used it. I think it also makes like a good tomato paste. So I think I'd rather use that for tomato paste than uh, cook it down for as long as you have to make a sauce, a tomato paste. I mean, you're cooking it down for hours.
Hmm.
And if I could just add a little water back to it to make it a tomato paste, that'd be great. So, yeah, so we also did garlic scapes today. So half of those are going in the freeze dryer.
Hmm.
Did you get many then, Audrey? Did you
Did I what?
get many garlic scapes?
Oh, yeah. We have
All
like
right.
an entire harvest basket full of them.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Lovely.
Yeah. No, nice. Nice. I love that's. I almost grow garlic more for the scapes. I just love those. So I've not freeze dried them yet. So we're gonna do that. And it might make great onion powder.
Mhm.
We'll see.
Mm.
Or not garlic
Yeah.
powder. Sorry, not onion powder. It'd be an interesting onion powder. But it might make just a very nice soft garlic powder. So
Hmm.
we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
I didn't get many scapes this year for whatever reason. I think it's because my garlic plants kind of ended slightly prematurely by the rust. So I only got like 2 of some elephant garlic.
I think I got 5 JB, which was like one quick fry up on my son. You know what I mean? For my
Oh
son.
yeah.
What's the bloody point, eh?
Let's
I got quite a few. I've had them in curry, like just chopped and put in curry. I think I've still got some in the fridge actually. Yeah.
Now, Kerry, did you do an Audrey? Now, is it
I
just the
forgot about
ladies?
this.
Is it the ladies that seem to do this quite often? You know
what are
I
you
mean?
implying?
Hmm?
What are you implying, Tony?
Kerry, would you like to?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know about the history. You missed when Audrey did it. That's what it is.
So Audrey planted. Audrey, what did you just give with a backstory?
Oh, I
Audrey.
know what. I know
I
what's
planted
coming.
over 700 garlic cloves one year.
Upside down.
Oh no,
Well,
I
this
didn't.
is not on that scale at all.
Oh no, I didn't plant them upside down. I planted bare root strawberries upside down.
It was the strawberries that were upside down, not the garlic.
It was because both ends looked the same. So I'm looking
I
for
can
a
see that with the
crown.
strawberries.
I'm looking
I
for
think
a
that's
crown,
pretty
going,
sweet.
where is the crown? I don't know. I guess this is it. Yep, all upside down. But, you know, you do that once and then you learn. Let's not do that again. That did not turn out well.
Have you ever
Well,
planted
maybe
anything
if I
upside down
had
before,
seen
Kerry?
that, if I'd seen that, maybe I would have learned. I'm going to defend myself on this because I think equally, like that is difficult to know the right way round. This was mashua. Like this is the first time I've ever seen a mashua. Like there is no obvious, or what I thought was the obvious up and down was clearly not. It's just like like a really kind. It's a tuber. It's kind of mottled appearance and rough. You know, it's not like a garlic or an onion where you've got a pointy end, and you know that should be going up. So anyway, I got one the right way around, but 2 others, when I picked up the pot and looked underneath, the shoot was trying to come out the bottom of the pot.
As soon as I saw it, I sent it straight to Tony. Like, you won't believe this. You'll never believe what I've just seen. That's interesting, though. That it's
I was
mushroom.
amazed, though, as soon as I righted them, within like hours, the leaves were coming out.
So what's it called then, Kerry, again?
It's called Mashua. It's got another name as well, but a long
Something,
is
and
it
I've never heard of that.
Latin name.
Is it a flower or a vegetable?
I bought it as it was sold as an ornamental, but it is an edible tuber. So it's kind of aniseedy, the tuber, I believe. And it's a perennial nasturtium, essentially. So the leaf is very nasturtium look like, but the flower is smaller, but it's a climbing plant and very prolific. So it will cover a trellis. It has lots of beautiful little flowers late in the season. And then when all that's died back, you can dig up the tubers and you've got a food crop as well. That's the idea.
Mm-hmm.
But it's my first year doing it, so we shall see what happens.
And then could you, in theory, then dry out those tubers and put them back in next year, or?
Absolutely.
Right.
And I think probably what will happen is I miss some. They will just come up the next year, because that's what happens with my ocker. Now, ocker I've done a few years in a row. They're tiny little tubers. When you're putting them in, does not matter which way round you put those up, they will find their way. But clearly Mashua has an up and a down.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think ocker is worth growing, Kerry? It's one I've seen sort of mixed results on. I think it's one a lot of people grow more for interest than like, yeah, this is an amazing crop that I love to eat, right?
I would say it's a novelty, but one that I really enjoy. And that's why I've continued to do it. And because there's quite an outlay at the beginning, these are not cheap, the tubers to buy. So
that's why I've never done it then.
Yeah. And seriously, like, I think you're looking at almost a tenner for like 3 or 4 tubers.
Okay.
But then they'll multiply year on year. And I've been kind of getting a bigger stock of them. And once you've bought them, you've got them hopefully forever if you don't like kill them all. And
biggest.
I would say the thing about them is they look really pretty. And you can grow them like the Mashua. They're an ornamental as well, because the leaf is so beautiful, because it's an oxalis. So it's got that beautiful kind of leaf. Yeah. And you can eat the leaf as well. It's got the citrusy that oxalis has. The tubers themselves are very beautiful when you got them out. They come in different colours, so you get like rosy pink ones and yellow ones. And then if you have them raw, you really do get that kind of taste of the lemon, and you can grate them into salads and coleslaws and things like that. And they are quite different and nice. If you cook them, you've basically got a potato. And then it turns out it's a very expensive potato that you've and very small potato. Still tasty, but yeah, if you were thinking about self-sufficiency, you would not be growing ocker. You would be using that space to grow potatoes. But yeah, I really like it. Yeah, I enjoy growing those. And this year I've done a bed that's full of them, but then I've also interplanted with straw flowers. So that's a bit of an experiment. I think the straw flowers will grow up and the ocker foliage will be all in between. So it will be the ground cover. Well, I also planted a few that were tiny ones that I just got left behind underneath the runner beans to do a undercover for those. But nothing's come up of those ones yet. We shall see.
Have any of you grown saffron?
No.
Unsuccessfully.
Have you, Audrey? Where is this going?
Well, I did grow it 1 year. This was about 4 years ago. Fabulous. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. Blooms in October, November, right when you need some kind of color. I know now why saffron is so expensive, because you legit are like pulling little stamens out, and there's 2 or 3 per flower. But it never returned.
Oh.
And I kept wondering, well, how do I use that bed for the next entire summer? if I'm got, these crocus in here. And I guess what I did maybe killed the crocus because they never came back.
Mhm.
And so they're not cheap either. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to have to figure this out a little better before I try it again.
Could
Because
it
it was
been
cheaper to buy
your would it
saffron.
would it have been your brutal frosts then, or do you think that's killed them? Or
Well, it said it was good to 2 levels worse than me.
all right,
So I think it went down to like a 5 or something. And because over here we have all those different layers of how many things can you have survive the winter. And I think it was 2 levels below me. So there should have been no reason. And it was in a raised, but it wasn't a raised bed. It was a in-ground bed that I had turned into raised. So it was like against our garage on the east side. So it had some, brick warmth. So I don't think that would have been the reason. But boy, it did not come back.
See, mine is coming back. The foliage is there, but I've never had any flowers. And I thought the first year that I put them in, I read it did say it could take a year to get flowers, but it's been another year and there's still been no flowers. And I had them in a raised bed, but I've now turned that into the dahlia bed. So whether they'll appear again or not, I don't know. But I've also put some in a pot around a mulberry tree. And they're all there. I can see all the foliage around the edge
Yeah.
of the tree, but just never flowered. And I keep checking. And again, it might be because I'm terrible at watering pots, and maybe that's why they haven't appeared. But
Well, and they're
I'm holding out hope.
They're October, November crocus,
Yes.
which is, it's beautiful because there's absolutely no color in the garden, at least not here. There's just nothing going.
are the deer bulb to buy? Are there? Or
Oh,
must
yeah.
be.
are there?
Yeah.
But
I think
still
it's
cheaper
like
than actually buying
$25 for
saffron.
10 of them.
What was
Oh,
that?
I didn't
Audrey?
pay any. No,
I think it was like $25 for 10. And,
I didn't pay
they're
anything
little,
near that.
little,
Farmer
little teeny.
Farmer Gracie's has them for, you can get 100 for £22 at the moment.
That's
Who's
where
this?
I got mine
Yeah.
from, but I didn't.
Well,
get
welcome
100.
to the UK. Okay.
Should I get some and then start
If
selling
you're
them
growing
on?
something, that's where you want to buy it. Yeah.
Where's that from,
I
JB?
got them in the sale, Farmer Gracie.
Yeah, Farmer Gracie. Very well known.
That's 100
you-
for $22. I would do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I'm tempted to get them just because they're so cheap. I'm like,
And
I don't need these.
They're so beautiful when they come up.
They are gorgeous.
You
aren't
It's
just
they?
have
nice.
to be prepared, JB, for very tedious, fiddly task when they come up.
See,
Nice time of year for a harvest. Though,
that's and just a bit of colour more than the harvest. If you're only getting 3 or
Oh
4.
no, if you want saffron, that would 100 would give you a nice little pile of saffron. Because that's quite expensive.
Because
So
when you use saffron in cooking, you only use like a strand or 2 strands, don't you? Anyway,
it's just for a slight flavor or color.
Because it can very quickly overpower
Yes.
flavours.
Yeah.
So
I'm ordering them.
oh, I knew you were. I knew you.
I'm just like, yeah, let's get them. Why not?
So when you plant them now, then you sow them now. Could you?
No, you plant them. You just do what it says. Again, I did it like 4 years ago, but I know it was like a later plant and it blooms in October. And it didn't take long to come up and bloom.
Yeah, it
That's
says you can
all
plant them from July
Yeah.
on here.
What colour are they coming up, JB?
They're like a nice purple, and they got the little, well, like a bluey purple. Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of have a darker center. Oh, no, they don't. Sorry, I'm thinking of my daisies right now. Never mind. They're very pretty.
Yeah, they are. I
Yeah,
mean, even if I didn't get any saffron from them, it'd be cute. Do you remember a while back? I think I told you guys about this. I don't know if I ever said it on the show, but I ordered like 500 bulbs from
Oh yes.
somewhere for like £10 or something, and I've only just remembered that I ordered them. I have no idea when they're due to be shipped. I think it might be an autumn shipment though. I need to double check that. It was some kind of an insane sale.
Are they
and
like
I've just
tulip
reminded
bulbs
myself.
or?
It was like a mix. Yeah, it was a mix of spring bulbs, I believe, and like just vast quantities of them for like next to no money. I was like, yeah, I thought it was one of those things where you're going to place the order and then get an email from the company the next day saying, "Oh, this went up by accident. We weren't meant to list this." But yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that one. I will update you.
Anything else? Let's have a look. Anybody carrots shown? Anybody got carrots coming up?
Oh, my carrots are doing really nice.
Oh, yes, lovely.
Yes, they're quite tall.
Oh.
So I know, I'm very excited. I love when carrots. I just love pulling them out. They're just so fun.
JB, there was a
lot
twist.
Sorry, a lot of people
mustn't.
say, why do you grow carrots? Because they're so cheap, don't they? But I absolutely agree, Audrey. The thing of pulling a carrot is just so wonderful.
And they taste different. I'm sorry.
Yes, definitely.
I think they do. And I grow purple carrots. So, you know, I can't get those in mass at the grocery store. So
yeah, that is quite cool. I would like to do a purple carrot. I've sown probably hundreds of purple carrots over the years. Never harvested one.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I've got
that's
some
why
in the
you mustn't
ground at
ask
the
me.
minute. They're coming up, but yeah.
I've had some good germination this year, but the first lot that I sowed that germinated got dug up by the foxes and badgers, and then the second lot that I sowed got dug up by foxes and badgers as well. So the second lot is now, it's all started to germinate, but I re-sowed that section of the bed, and all the old seeds are now coming up as well. So I've got like lettuce, beetroot, spring onions, carrots, and like a few other bits and bobs, all just growing all together. Let's call it
a chaos bed.
Chaos bed.
Chaos
Exactly.
bed.
Yeah. I found the order. Yeah, 500 spring bulbs. It was £30, and it says they will be dispatched by the end of August this year. That seems like a bargain to me. 500 bulbs. So we'll see. We'll see if they actually turn up or not.
Get them in.
It's from Sutton's, so it's not like some dodgy website or anything.
Are they for the plot or the garden?
Oh, well, 500, it'll be for everyone. Everyone I know. Everyone and everywhere. I'll just be like, there you go. Do you want some bulbs? But yeah, we'll do quite a lot of the allotment as well, I think.
Before we go, last question. Kerry, what's taken off for you in the garden? What are you really pleased about?
What's taking off? Well, the carrots are doing well. Tree spinach has gone mad. I pulled a load of that out and got covered in black fly. I don't know. It's because my focus is still on getting things out. So I'm not noticing quite what's... The sweet peas are doing beautifully. But I got 16 of my pumpkins out at the weekend.
Ooh,
I was really chuffed. All the climbing ones are along the tunnel arches now. Every single tomato is now out.
Yay, congratulations.
74 tomatoes are in the ground. And what else did I put out? Watermelons went out, all the climbing beans. So it was more, it's still that thing. My focus is like, just get everything into the ground.
What size are your tomatoes that you're putting out?
It's funny actually to look along the polytunnel because those first ones that I put out are like this and they need side shooting and pruning. And then the ones that are the cherries that have just gone out, they're like this. They're really leggy. I buried them deep and they're still leggy. But looking down the row and the stages at which they went out, it is astonishing to see how quickly they recover and start growing because they have been rather neglected. But yeah. Looking good now. I'm excited. The polytunnel
is a lot of tomatoes.
fully planted up.
Nice.
It is, Audrey, and it's going to be interesting to see what I do with them all.
That was my next question was, what do you do with that?
I don't know.
And
there's going to be
I grow a lot, so I'm like, that is a ton of tomatoes.
There shall be a lot of sharing, I think, but canning. But I don't have loads of freezer space, so I'm going to have to do stuff with them. I've got a dehydrator, a little tabletop dehydrator.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing fancy like a freeze dryer, but it does the job.
Well, they produce a different product.
Mm.
So I still have a dehydrator because it does produce different. So, like my sun-dried tomatoes are still going in my dehydrator because I don't want them powdery.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, you want them that leathery, chewy, kind of sun-dried texture.
Mm.
Audrey, what's doing good for you at this moment?
My garlic is still looking very good, and I just took the scapes off, so I've got another couple weeks. Peas have done phenomenal. What else is taking off? Oh, kale. Oh my goodness. I mean, huge, huge. And I did that, I think it's a Portuguese one,
All right, yes.
the tranchuta.
Oh, yeah.
Gorgeous. So very excited. Lettuce is doing good. I still need to get a second crop of that going. And carrots. I'm thrilled with how my carrots look. This is the earliest I've had them this big. So very
Well, mine are just kind of little things, but at least I've got them
But
germinated
that's okay.
and away.
Well, you know, and you're not going to hit heat like we do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little concerned that we're heading into, we're a mile from the sun heat. So I hope they will do well. But that's what shade cloth is for, right? May have to
JB, the man who's just in love with his garden at the moment. What's everything's nice for you, isn't it? At the moment,
it is. Yeah, no, it was. Yesterday was amazing. I took home. I didn't weigh them, but so many cherries. I started out. I got a little kind of quarter tray, maybe like this size. You know, like one of those little black trays for planting stuff out in, and started filling that with cherries. And it was like very full very quickly. And I was like, oh, there's going to be a much bigger harvest than I was expecting here. And ended up taking like loads home. And then they were already getting a bit soft and squishy. I maybe left them on the tree a little bit too long. So I spent like hours yesterday processing them, going through, getting out any little gribbly bugs and stuff like that, because I kind of wish I'd like meshed it properly to keep the moths and whatever laid their eggs in there off, but it was still very good, and they were processed up quite nice by the end of the night. So
yeah, it was a pretty big harvest. I mean, those were a couple nice big buckets of.
What are you going to do with them?
Probably jam. Like at the moment they're in the fridge, just with some cling film on them.
Kerry, we might get it. We might get a little jar. You never know.
Well, the thing is, I don't have any jam jars. I've got. I bought a load of stuff for canning. At the end, it's so stupid. At the end of last year, it was towards the end of the season. I was like, I'm going to buy the stuff for tomato canning now, so that I don't suddenly have all these tomatoes and then go, oh, I need to order the stuff. Which is exactly what I've just done with the cherries. I've got all these cherries in the fridge, and I've just ordered the jam jars. The really sick thing is, as well, Jess finally convinced me to get a chest freezer, so I didn't even need to get all the canning stuff, because we could have just filled the new chest freezer with tomatoes. But we will still can some.
That's what I would like, a chest freezer.
Well,
yeah, it's one of those little ones, but it's very.
You can always freeze your cherries too till you're ready.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. I think I will just.
Okay, I just said something funny.
Freeze.
Apparently, you can freeze your cherries. Okay,
Terrible.
Oh Lord God. Okay.
But yes, other than the harvest and the 8 kilograms of rhubarb, which is now in the freezer, that I've been trying to get through. The chilies are looking really nice. I did a little. They like caught my eye in the corner of the polytunnel yesterday, and I was like, "What the heck?" They've like in a week they've like doubled in size. So really, really pleased to see that.
I did your trick the other day and took off the flowers and any little fruits that were forming, because I just potted them on. So hopefully now they will bulk up a little bit.
I do think that is what's made the difference for mine, to be honest. Okay. I do think that is what has kind of switched them back into like, oh, let's do some more vegetation.
Okay. Fingers crossed then,
they got a lot bigger.
Yeah, I always feel sad when I'm watching a YouTube gardener and the pepper plant is maybe 4 inches tall and there's like 2 or 3 like green peppers on it, large bell pepper. And they're like, oh, look at how good this plant is producing. And I'm like, look how you're killing that plant.
Yeah, that's going to
Like,
be it. You're going to
take
get
those
those
off
that'll
and
be it.
let the plant grow. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. Like I always, if you've got 100 chili plants and most of them are growing really well and you've got a few that are doing that, then yeah, sure, don't worry. But if you've only got 1 or 2, then
Yeah,
I think
like,
it's good to keep on top of it.
yeah, but the nicer you can get the plant, the better it's going to produce.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Exactly.
give it a minute.
What about you, Tony? What are you loving?
Celeriac. Celeriac is.
Yours are looking nice.
I'm really. I think it's to do with the spent compost from the tomatoes and chilies last year. I think it's still something in there that's the seem to, because I've got them in the other bed and they were the same batch planted a week later. But I think I'm on top of these watering them more because they're next to the water bucket. So when I go to get some water for something else, I think, well, I might as well just do them because they're right there. So I don't know if it's that, but they seem really, good.
Nice.
I mean, top. I have no idea what's underneath, but they seem a nice, strong plant. So we will see, because Celeriac's been a bit of a bugger for me. I grew it once and had some, and then they've been golf ball size ever since. So,
Well, Tony, since you pointed out that we are now past,
it's winter.
yes, is anybody planting anything specific for after the longest day of the year?
Well, I'll tell you what I've still got, that I've done second sowings of. I've still got spring onions. I've got some radicchio to go in. I've got, these are all from seed. I've got some sprouting broccoli that needs pricking out and putting into containers for next April. I have got some more the Paris Cos to go in because I'm on top of me salad sowings this year because everything's going all right. I have some kale for next year as well. Oh, this year.
Okay.
I did put in a few weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, maybe a week ago, some chard, and that's took off. It's all, and that was in the height of the heat. To be honest, it was, you know what I mean. It was like, but it's.
I think chard is almost indestructible, don't you?
Yeah, man.
You've just deflated me balloon there, Audrey.
No, but it kind of takes a what is it? Takes a licking and keeps on ticking, whatever. I mean, it really can withstand a whole lot.
Well, it's looking all right still. I'm going home.
Okay.
Audrey has been on fire this week.
That's great. That's great.
Okay, bad. Okay, never mind.
Apart from me chard, everything's all right. But me chard was me one shining thing.
No, you even do that when you're deciding, oh, it's all blown. I'm just gonna whack it all off and see what happens, and it comes back beautifully.
Right, Kerry, that was a one too far.
Audrey, I am not speaking anymore.
Audrey, that one was really rude. That's just it.
My face hurts.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, typical American there. Fair, I tell you what.
Oh.
Right. Can we just get back to, what I mean?
I'm not saying anything else.
Gardener's World wouldn't have us on, I'll tell you that for straight away, the bleeps.
Well, unless they wanted good humor and a fun show.
Exactly. Kerry, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me at Dog on the Plot on YouTube and Instagram.
Thank you very much. JB?
You can find me at NaturallyJB on YouTube, Instagram, and Patreon.
Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. And Audrey, Potness, this show was named after you. Potty Mouth.
Apparently, I'm going to be in the vicar's office. Whatever that means. Okay, I just know that always seems to come up. Real Food Comes Dirty. YouTube, Instagram, and .com.
What are you going to be doing in the vicar's office, madam? That's what I
Well-
want to know.
I'm done. Here, I'll hold up a pee. I say nothing.
Right,
I'm done.
right, right, everyone. That's it. Had enough. Bloody aching. Look after yourselves, everyone. Take good care. We'll see you, Audrey, in the vicar's office. Hey.